welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Evergreen Inks, and I am going to do a flip through of my planner as we're moving into 2024, because I think the last time that I did a full flip through was in October-ish, and there are some things that I changed between then and now, and also some things that I changed for 2024, and I wanted to give you a glimpse into that. I will go through every single part again, so it'll be a full flip, as if I hadn't previously posted a flip. So if you are already familiar with my planner and just want to see the changes, feel free to skip around, but I will note when things changed from the last video. Does that make sense? So I'll do a full comprehensive flip. I won't just touch on the changes, but at the same time I will reference when something has changed. I will do my best to link, or at least mention, most of what I use in the description box. I'm not going to take the time for most things to say where it's from. So if I don't either say it in my video or obviously share it in the description box, and you have a question for something is from, please feel free to ask. I do forget things because there are a lot of things that go into a ring planner. Okay, right off the bat, if you're new to my account, I plan in an A6 rings, and this particular cover is from the company Giulio. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Ferenz, or I'm very stereotypically American in that. And this model is called the Campagna, and the color is a polka green. So the full comprehensive name is a Giulio A6 Campagna in polka green. I have 30mm silver rings in here right now. But as you can see, it has been majorly de-chunked, slimmed down, however you prefer to say it, since our last video. It couldn't even close over 2 pens. It barely closed with just 1 pen in a pen loop, but I have since slimmed it down so that it closes over both pens. It was before this iteration, it was probably about this chunky, could not close. I didn't even bother trying. Even without both pens, it didn't close. And that's basically one of the reasons I did so many modifications to my system. You're gonna look at my planner, you're gonna say, Michaela, you didn't change that much, but for me I changed a lot, because being able to close my planner is a big part and a big constraint or rule that I want to have for myself in my planner, because there's just something different about being able to close it, make it feel secure, and then carry it with me. I have not been carrying my planner with me because it didn't close, and I felt like I was going to lose or rip things. So having my planner close is a big deal to me, and it's going to be one of the things that I use in 2024 to evaluate my system. I do still have the 30mm rings, though. I haven't slimmed down so much that I can go to 25. I don't know if we'll get there, because I do love all the options and all the stuff that I carry in this planner. Okay, diving right in. Decorations are, I think, pretty much still the same. I do still have Christmas in here, even though the day that I'm recording this is the 29th. You're gonna see a lot of emptiness in my planner because my husband and I spent a lot of December sick, so we actually didn't really even get into the Christmas spirit until Christmas Eve, and I'm not ready to part with Christmas just yet. Yeah, I'm gonna skip over. I've got some physical inbox items still attached here that I need to deal with, so skipping over that. One of the main things that you're gonna see as a change is I changed out my big side tabs. You can see one of them right here, right? It says 1 down vertically, and I have 6 of them. These are the Peanuts Planner Co. dividers that have less of a footprint than the cloth and paper ones that I was using previously, so it's harder to see them. However, they're also like so much thinner. So that's one of the reasons I switched over. And also when I was labeling them, I labeled them 1 through 6 instead of with actual names, so that I have the freedom to rearrange my inserts however I choose to. Yeah, one of the things that was really irritating me in the back of my mind, like I couldn't articulate it, was that I did have dividers that were pre-labeled for me, and that was really, really good when I was setting up my planner and like wanting to know how I wanted my planner to be organized. But now that I did have my system down pat in A6 Rings, I wanted to switch it around a little bit, and I couldn't because the tabs were already labeled. So I just decided to number them and then have basically a table of contents that's easily changeable with page flags, so that if I ever get the urge to rearrange, I just can, right? I can just pull this tab off. This is actually, I got this idea from Create with Mona, I think. I'll try to link her Instagram account below, but she basically just types up words and then prints them as a photo on her photo printer, like her HP Sprocket, which is what I have, and then cuts them out, and they're DIY labels if you don't have a label maker, which I do not. And that's what I did to label these as well. Like I just used Canva. And then I put them on these page flags so that I can take those out when I need to. And that's one of my big goals. Pardon me. It's one of my big goals for 2024 is doing more DIY stuff. So, yeah, so that's something that's really exciting is the numbered tabs, and I thought that was cool just to have. And I still do have this first inbox tab. I took out my main categorized list insert for inbox because I wasn't using it. But I wanted this piece of paper in here just in case in the front of my planner. I do have a notes section now that I will show you. So generally when I'm like brain dumping, I do have a place for notes in the back, and I do still rapid log in my dailies. So this is just like triply redundant, but it does make me feel safe to have this and a place for sticky notes in case I had to tear something out and give it to somebody else, I guess. Or in case it's something that's not necessarily like a note, but maybe it's like a work thing or something. I just like having this uncategorized piece of paper here felt good. I don't know. I'm keeping it for now, but it is one of the things that I'm considering removing more when I go through my planner again. Probably at the beginning of next quarter, so April-ish. Okay. First section is labeled section 1, which is still my schedule section. So like monthly, weekly, daily is all still in this first divider. I do have my 2023 and 2024 year at a glance, and I use this as a PTO and like vacation holiday tracker. On the other side, I've got holidays, holiday freebie. This is a freebie from myself. I did open a shop in the past month or so. on Patreon. So this is a freebie on Patreon, and I plan on using this for my word/verse of the year. I just have to write it out, make it pretty. And then I do have a 2025 side, and I thought I'd use it for scratch notes for how I like maybe at the end of the year where I'm like, oh, okay, so this is my word for this year. Maybe are some ideas for like my word for next year or something. I don't know. I just printed it on both sides. I was going to print this side, so I figured I might as well print the other one on the other side. So this is my 2024 and 2025 year at a glance. I have to transfer 2024 holidays onto this still. This is also part of this freebie on my shop. I will link it below. I have this freebie, and then I have one more insert that I will share with you. And I'm not trying to sell my products. That's not what I'm trying to do. But that's where this is from, and it's something new that happened, so I thought I'd share that with you. 2024 Highlight Plus. I do like highlighting the holidays as they go. I think that's pretty fun. Monthly. So monthlies are still the same. I took out all of my 2023 monthlies except for except for December. So December is still in here. Yep, and then this insert so I've got two inserts in between, in between my two sets of monthlies. They're both 2023, and what I'm gonna do with this one, I haven't finished like 2023 review yet, even though it's the 29th of December. It takes me a long time to do absolutely anything, so this will not get done before January 1st, but that's okay. I want to go through each of my planners, daily pages, weekly pages, monthly pages, anything, and catalog the big things that happened, not as a way to archive for the event's sake, but to recognize what happened through 2023. I was having a conversation with my husband the other day, and we both realized that when we both get to the end of a year, we kind of look back at the blur of the fall, and we go, like, we lost time, right? We didn't accomplish anything in 2023, for example. And that's frankly not true, right? Like, a year is 365 days. I am sure every person accomplished at least one thing once a month that they're proud of, right? Even if it was start taking walks or something. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. I am still sick. I don't know if I mentioned that. We were sick most of December, so I'm still sick, so I'm still trying to pace myself, that kind of thing. Side tangent, I apologize. So as a way to remember 2023, I'm going to write big accomplishments, big things that we did, good and bad, and put them on this insert. And I'm going to do this again in 2024, I think, but it is less a log as the months go by and more so a way to reflect on the year at the end of the year. So this one's for 2023, but I'm not going to put in 2024's by any stretch of the imagination because I won't need it until the end of 2024 when I start doing my life review. But I still want to do it, and I still want to keep it in my archive binder for 2023, because I think it's useful as a way to remind myself that, yeah, you had a year. You didn't just blink and it went away. Like, you actually did things, even if they were small things, and small things are just as valid. So then this insert, 2023, I want to go through all of my planners that I used in 2023 and give like one or two sentences about how I was feeling in that planner at that time and what I think made me switch out. I think I've mentioned it on my YouTube. I've been in 3 big planners in 2023. Um, I'm not going to include like cover hopping. I might, but I won't make a big deal about it. Um, but I did switch my planner twice, so I have three different planners in 2024, which is not my usual. I usually do switch just about once a year. Um, but I do want to like record that and maybe just for pattern recognition, I think. Um, so that when I start actively reviewing my planner every quarter in 2024, which is a goal of mine, I can compare that to the rough notes that I made of 2023. So for example, I switched planners in the spring and the fall in 2023, which does not surprise me in the slightest because those are my periods of change. Um, Transitional seasons are when I feel the most inspired and ready to make changes in my own life. And I kind of want to see how that compares to how 2024 goes, I guess. So that's what that's going to be for. This, I think, so I've been playing with what do I do with this front section of the monthly. You can't get away from it because like January is on the back. And what I think I'm gonna do is put finance related things here slash monthly things that I do with my husband. Um, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna use it for. I don't know because I haven't used it other than that. But monthlies are still the same, still month on 2 pages, still pencil first, transferred to pen right before the beginning of the year, that kind of thing. One thing I did add that I'll show you an example of is this trip planner insert. I got this idea from Planning Mama. I think I saw a video of hers in, I think, on YouTube. I think it was an older video, and by older I mean like probably maybe 2019. Um, and when she was in Personal Rings. And what she did was she had, I think it was a different insert, but she would put a trip planner, especially the months that she knew that she and her family were going camping. She'd slip it in right near her monthly so that when she was planning the month, she saw, hey, um, oh, this trip here, well, I need to start planning for this trip. I need to think about packing. I need to think about budgeting, whatever. And I thought that was great. So I printed out a pocket-sized one, and it goes in between, like right here in my monthlies. Let me see. I don't have anything in December of next year, I don't think. So it just goes boom right here. And it doesn't, I don't think it takes away too much of the space like a full A6 insert would. Like it doesn't detract. It's kind of a Dutch door system, but it's also like right there in the monthly planning, so I can remember it when that happens. So I have a couple of these, and I will put them in the months that I already know we're traveling. When I fully switch over to 2024. I haven't finished doing that. Okay. This is my 2025 future log. So things that happen in 2025. This is going to be my goals insert for 2024. I like doing goals seasonally / quarterly because that's roughly every quarter is a season. And my energy levels are very much based on the physical season that we're in, spring, summer, fall, winter. And so I will base my goals and the things that I want to do around my energy levels, how much activity I can get, like am I stuck in the apartment because it's snowing, like that kind of thing. Yeah, and I'm just gonna do that. I personally find I'm a lot better at doing like high activity or high motivation events in spring and fall, and then summer is trying to continue what I set in spring, and winter is like hard reset. I hit November and I'm just like, okay, time to not think about goals, time to rest, not burn out, reflect on how I did, that kind of thing. And I just want to base my goals off of that because that's how my energy levels work. So that's what that is for. Weeklies. So I still have December in here, and I'm just gonna pop this out because I don't know what's on the back of that. Well, it's gratitude, but I don't know what's on there, if it's okay for looking. I still am using the monthly and weekly logs the same way that I have been. The one big change is that for my weekly log, and you're gonna have to forgive me because again, I was sick most of December. So there are like I think the last week that I did a weekly was like the 10th through 16th of December. I haven't done a weekly insert in 2 weeks. So I'm just really tired and I haven't, yeah. Anyway, this side right here, I used to use for habits, right? I have since moved my habits and I've been using this as a way to memory keep every day. Yeah, stickers, watercoloring, sketching, whatever, handwriting, whatever, and just writing about big things that happened that day. And what I did with my habits was I put them up here at the top of my rolling weekly. When I started this insert, and even when I moved into A6, this didn't seem viable to me. I don't know why. But then Lindsay Scribbles did it in her video and her planner system. I think that's what she's doing right now. And it clicked. I don't know. Maybe I had to see somebody else do it, but I was inspired to then move my habits because this wasn't getting seen as well as I wanted it to. And the whole reason of having this fold out was that I could see my weekly tasks. So I was like, oh, but I also want to see my daily habits. So I put them at the top. The hard blue line here is end of habits. This dotted blue line is daily habits. And then those intermittent habits that I talked about that happen every other day or every 2 or 3 or 4 days or however many it is. And yeah, I do a dot when I don't do it, a cross or an X when I complete it, and then there's some that are like one hash is one thing and one hash is the other because they're usually a joined thing. Yeah, it's been working. Again, I haven't been using my planner or my weeklies for 2 weeks. So, but other than that, it has been working. I didn't touch my habit log in December because I was busy and then I was sick. And that's just how it goes. And that's my weekly habit log. That hasn't changed at all. The one thing that I'm going to change for January is that I'm only going to have one sheet. So this will be goals, this will be habits, this will be January, like not this insert, but for example, this would be January gratitude, and then this would be the meal planning for the month. And I will just use one insert for just for a little bit less. Like it's one sheet of paper, but it's just a little bit less stuff in my planner. And it works for the way that I'm archiving as well. Okay, and then dailies. Dailies are still the same. Let me see if I can find you a blank one because we're at the end of December and I haven't moved January in yet. Here's today. I don't think I've even put anything in today. Okay. Still using the Midori Hibino Day on 2 page with Samoy River paper. Still loving it. Still not caring that it's cream in comparison to white of the rest of my planner. Still don't care that the pages are rounded or that it's like slightly shorter because I cut off the middle. Like it doesn't bother me. It's doing great. The one thing is this month I have been a lot less active in it, so I'm like using the pages for less, as you can see, like lots of blank space. Right now that doesn't bother me because I understand that I am sick and I am busy, and the holidays are more about doing things than like making sure a page is filled, even though I was sick and couldn't do much. However, so I'm being graceful with myself. However, I do understand that having, if I ever get to a point where I'm just not journaling on this page or using this page whatsoever for anything, I'm barely using this one and this one's just not being looked at whatsoever, or I decide that I get bored with my dailies, I do have a couple ideas for backup options that are low cost slash DIY, so that if this does start to get irritating, I do have a solution that's not jumping ship and starting a new planner. But I do have my January pages all cut up and ready. I'm just like I haven't reviewed December yet, so I'm not ready to take out these pages yet, but that'll be this weekend that I'll be doing that. So for now, these stay the same, but I do have backup options in case it becomes an issue. Okay, still have my 2023 daily insert archive. It's basically a description of what's journaled on what day in case like we had an event that happened that I want to remember, what have you. This was an idea again from Lindsay Scribbles. This one's my 2024 archive. This was supposed to be my 2024 future log, but I didn't ever use it. And by the time that I'd printed and like cut it, it was almost time for the 2024 monthlies to come out. So I decided to repurpose this because I already had it printed. I'd already written out like the calendar for each for each month. And so I figured I could like dot when I do a journaling prompt or journal at all, and then just like list what topic or whatever. So that's what these are. I have my journaling prompts from Journaling Home. I've got December printed and ready. The next big section I have is my lists section. In here I have my getting things done lists, so my next action, my waiting on, my someday maybe list. I do have a create list, like things I want to make for my planner. I do have my destash list of planner items and covers that I am trying to sell, what their prices are, that kind of thing. I've got a shopping list. I have an inventory log. One of the big things that I did do when I cleaned out my planner was take out a lot of unnecessary reference stuff. And one of those things was having a shopping list and an inventory log and meal planning back in my reference, because that just like doesn't make sense for me. So I took all of those inserts out. I did leave this one inventory log here right next to my shopping list because theoretically I want to set up a process for being more mindful of looking at our home items that we're running low on, because right now it's oh shoot, we're almost out of this, we have to go buy this now. And I want to be more forward looking, like, oh, we only have one more refill of this, and refills generally take this much time, so I'm gonna order this many more. That's kind of how I grew up. That's what my mom does, and I want to do that but don't have the memory for it, so an insert it is. I do have a books to read list. You're gonna see that one of the things that I changed was I took out a lot of my book section. The only two inserts that I really use out of it are my books to read list and my reading/book log. I use the book log for logging my books for school purposes. So I moved that insert back into my school section, and just left this books to read list in my list section. After that, I have an add to planner and some 2024 plan lists and like a random brain dump. One of the things I'm going to do this weekend is take all of these inserts out and rewrite the parts of them that are transferable and something I want to take into 2024, because one of the things that I don't do is take out my lists inserts as often as I should, and I'm going to start doing that quarterly, but I want to start 2024 off with new clean lists. After that, I have my notes section. Basically, this is just a section filled with Stalogy paper and Tomoe River grid paper, and I just, anything that doesn't have another place goes here. I did have, so this used to be a section behind lists. And when I rearranged my planner, I took out my finance section, and I'm going to show you where that went, but that meant I had like a free tab, and I decided notes needed its own section. So, yeah, so I have a bunch of notes. This is another thing that I'm going to clear out this weekend. There's some stuff that I still want in here. So in my initial clean out of things that I don't use, these notes pages did not get cleared, because I do clear my notes pages monthly, actually, or I try to. I just didn't do it in November. So, and I haven't finished reviewing December, so I'm not ready to leave these pages yet. Yep, I put notes for videos, notes for blog posts. I put, I even did my color swatching from the pens that I want to use in January, that kind of thing. And then I also moved my 2023 planner review and 2024 planner planning into my notes section. It generally goes back in my planner section, but I just needed a lot of notes pages for it. I needed to take a lot of notes. I needed to write a lot of notes, and more notes than would fit in my daily pages. And if I'm shaking the table, I'm sorry. So I just threw it in my notes section. So I mind mapped things that I wanted my planner to hold and what it would look like. And generally this looks a lot like the planner, my planner's set up already, but I just wanted to double check. I do have a spot to brain dump goals, but I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do like a season and what I want my focus energy wise to be, and then go from there. I don't know. And then I have my 2023 planner review, and what I did talk about this a little bit in my most recent video. No, it was not my most recent video. It was the video before that, my yearly process one of what I do to reflect. And so one of the things that I did was I went insert by insert, and I talked about what I use it for, or what I was planning to use it for, whether I did and whether I needed to. And then when I got down to like my planner section and my reference sections, I started to go section by section and not insert by insert, because by the time I got to reference, I was tired. I was tired of doing this. And also, like, I knew what I was and wasn't touching in my reference section. And so my reference section got chopped quite a bit because I was frustrated, which is probably a good thing because I did have too much stuff in it previously, but I didn't do as in-depth because it was like more perpetual information than planning and process. I did just skim the last couple of sections, and then I do have some extra note pages. And then behind that, I do have some like list type inserts just in case. I have some photos and stuff like that. And then we get to my project section, which is my baby, because this is the big exciting thing now that we are 30 minutes into this video. This is the big exciting thing that changed about a week ago. And I've been like hinting at it on my Instagram because I had big ideas that I just wanted to share this here first. My Patreons already know, but I wanted to share it publicly here first because I wanted to explain it and so I could talk about my excitement for it. This section and the rework of this section was completely inspired by Peanuts Planner Co. If you look at Peanuts Planner Co.'s June or July video about projects, the way that they set up their planner is Franklin Covey compact, but the project section is personal sized so that the tabs for their project section are tiered off so that they don't have to look at projects until it's relevant, until they know they need to go to the tab section or the project section. So that's what I did. I could give you the full story, but it'll be a couple minutes. But I'm just gonna go for it. I saw Vavara's video and it was wonderful, but at the time I was in Pocket and there's no way that I could do a tiered Pocket Slim, for lack of a better word, because I felt like I was already using the Pocket inserts to the max. There was no way I could do any smaller for me personally. So I like tabled it and then I moved to A6, and A6 I thought didn't really have a slim version. So I tabled it. I was like, I want to move up, but I want to move to A6. I don't want to move all the way up to Franklin Covey just to do this tiered project thing that I don't even know would work for me when I was switching from Pocket into a bigger size. So I just like let it sit on the back burner. I've been thinking about this since July. And then when I was investigating things and ways to archive my A6 inserts, which by the way, this is my archive binder, which was sitting on my stand, so it probably shook the table for you. I found out that Franklin Covey pocket size, not Franklin Covey compact, Franklin Covey pocket size is basically A6 Slim. It's a little bit taller than A6, true A6, but it's slim. So as you can see, my inserts, like they come out, let's see if I can do this. They come out further than this binder because this is made for these size inserts. And I have to be careful when I put it back in the box or my inserts will bend. But that means that the inserts that go in that box are slimmer than A6. So during Black Friday, I looked on Etsy for Franklin Covey pocket dividers. And I found these super slim, like acetate ones, like that. It's nothing more than a piece of acetate, which is great because it thins out my planner significantly. And I bought a couple sets because they were cheap and I wanted to not save on shipping, but validate the shipping, if that makes sense. Hold on, I need another drink. Thanks, sorry. Voice is getting scratchy. So I popped in these, and as you can see, they work perfectly in terms of tiering. And then Franklin Covey Pocket is even more rare than Franklin Covey Compact. And I had these, but at the same time, I bought them kind of on a whim on Black Friday. I wanted to have them just in case because now I knew the size existed. But as far as I knew, every shop that I frequent in terms of purchasing does not have Franklin Covey Pocket as a size. So I didn't feel like there was any way that I was actually going to be able to use this system unless I made my own inserts. And so I tabled it again. I investigated, but I tabled it again. And then being so sick for so long at the end of December made me need to change something about my planner without changing all of it and without changing its function. So I was doing my planner review. My planner was way too full, right? It was like this thick. And I was like, how am I gonna make my planner thinner? I don't know what I want or need changed, but how am I gonna make my planner thinner? This is ridiculous. And I remembered these super thin tabs, because the tabs that I had before were the Peanuts Planner Co. And these are significantly different in thickness. And so I kind of was like, well, if I change the size of my inserts but keep my inserts the same in my projects, like that'll give me something new, right? And I can rearrange them so that I have more options for project sections, and I can make them numbered the same way that I did my tabs, so that I can constantly change it so that like projects flow in and flow out, right? Like there are perpetual projects, social media, like my writing, like those will probably be more stable. However, like projects flow in and out, sections flow in and out. I want to rearrange my project section anyway, so it gives me a bit more flexibility. How about I just like go for it? Let me just think about this. And in my notes section in my planner review, I basically did planner math, and I was like, okay, so the two rectangular sizes that I've got that'll size down right could be either Franklin Covey or Personal. Did the planner math. Personal is better for sizing down, because if you size down Franklin Covey compact, it's still more square than Personal. And basically it came down to it that width you needed to size down 92%, height you needed to size down 88% from personal sized ring inserts. And I decided to go with the 93% size down, because I wanted as much width as I possibly could, and sizing it down 88% would cut into the width that I was already cutting into. And so I just take my inserts a little bit shorter than the grid lines say at the top and bottom. So long way of saying these are 93% of personal sized inserts. I didn't have a lot of personal size inserts before this project, so I did end up buying new inserts for this, but also I tried to only buy the necessary ones and use note pages for the unnecessary ones, like the organized grid or the organized list inserts from Peanuts Planner Co. I adore them, but I didn't need to buy them in the moment, so I decided to just use note pages for that instead. So I have labeled 1 through 6 these dividers. As you can see, I have 5 dividers that are already in use, and these ones will probably stay in use most of the time. And this 6th one is like whatever I need it to be, whenever I need it to be. If I need more than 6 sections, I do have a second set of these. They are decorated though, they're not clear, so they might be a little bit thicker. They're like coffee themed, that I could label either 1 through 6 again, or I could label them 7 through 12. And I have enough space on the back of this to have more tabbed table of contents if I needed that. Hopefully I'm not adding more than like one project on at a time, but you never know. Okay. But inside these projects, they're pretty much all the same as before. Let me see what I can show you. notes page instead of a list. This is going to be my school due date tracker thing, my school packet breakdown and tasks. I have my word count tracker and word planning. I have like the number version of the graph. I have some notes. Okay, so one of the things that I did, actually, I'll tell you that when I get to work section. Okay, one of the things that I did add in my planner in November-ish was I added a work section. I basically slotted it in right here in between the project tab and the first tab because I didn't have a section for it to go in projects. But basically what I did was, let me find you a blank page because work is sensitive, is I bought a Peanuts Planner Co. like 3-column per page insert and just rapid logged my day on it. Again, highly influenced by Lindsay Scribbles. This is not an original idea. And that really worked. So I knew I wanted to transfer it when I was switching over my project section. So I ended up buying her labeled list. So basically what she does is has the week's task list and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because she works and I work Monday through Friday. I think she does, but I do. So that's what that means. But she also made blank ones. As I said, I moved my reading log. Sorry, side tangent. She made blank ones. So what I'm using these ones for, sorry to jump back to my writing section, is I rapid log while I'm writing. And I'm just going to ignore this little week, but I'll date each column when I do it because I don't write every day as much as I want to. But I do like categorizing it by day and then like chapter that I'm working on, that kind of thing, and how I felt while writing, and then like any notes about plot holes, notes about world building, that kind of thing. I fully intend to journal archive these notes the same way that I do my journal entries for ease of reference when I'm looking for like a world building note, or like a plot hole note later. And I also want to log, like if I'm working through chapter 1 here, when I'm editing chapter 1, like I want to see those notes, that kind of thing. So that's what these are for here. So Lindsay made dated, like day of the week and undated, and so I kind of want, and they came in the same listing, so I wanted to share those with you. So that's the only thing that I have in my work section. My monthly calendar and like my major task list, like those are still on the computer, but my daily rapid logging, I like having that there. This is social media, which still looks the same as before, pretty much. Section 4 is finance, so I moved finance, and because I wasn't really looking at it behind my projects, it was too hard to get to with how thick my planner was. I just moved it to projects, and yeah. Last that I have is perpetual, which I talked about in my previous video. Projects that happen yearly, or within routine. So Father's Day and Mother's Day, my husband and I do stuff for our church. I do have my gift list, like a perpetual gift list idea back here, or idea list back here. Like I could go in lists, but Christmas and birthdays are kind of like projects in my mind. So that stays back here. And I want it year round. So if I think of something for someone in January, but their birthday is not till July, I want it back here because it's more long term than my lists section is. And then I have that free section for section 6, and I just have one notes page there. book log, I need to transfer the books that I read to my book log on these A6 Slim pages. My next section is my planner section. I have my routines and my bullet journal key and my planning log. So in my make sure you have these inserts, every month list is here, but it goes back here. I move it up to my dailies when I'm prepping for a new month, but as soon as the month is set up and reflected, like I still have to reflect on December, as soon as that's done, it goes back in this section again. But I like having this here as a reminder to do it. And also because like I can do one step one day, 3 steps the next day. And it's good to have here as a reminder. So I have those things. I have a task reminders list. Actually, so this is my 2024 Techo Kaiji. I mentioned my 2023 one at the beginning. I keep 2024 here. I just moved 2023 up because I wanted to finish it. And if it's at the front with my monthlies, theoretically, I will see it more. I have a list. This is for like inserts that I use and where they're from. And then I have like this is basically like a breakdown of my table of contents. I have to fill that in since it's changed. And then I have my Peanuts Planner Co. insert checklist and what each of those numbers mean. And then the 6th section is my miscellaneous section still. Still have my prayer and Bible reading list. This is my trackers section. I'm actually going to move, so this is another big thing. I'm moving my trackers, tab and all, to the back of my lists section. Sorry, I'm picking up because we're getting really, really long. So basically, I'm not looking at these trackers at all, and I want to. And so they need to move forward, and I didn't necessarily know where the best place to put them was, but lists felt like the proper way. So behind my lists, but before notes, I'm just gonna pop my trackers in. Then I have my health section, which is I keep health log, which is like day of the month, what days my husband and I are sick. And then I have a list behind it of like symptoms or more specific because there's not a lot of room here. Behind that, I have an appointment log, so I can log when we go to doctors, not necessarily to plan them, but if someone says, when's the last time you went to the gynecologist? I have that here. Then I have a headache log as well, and I changed that out for 2024 already. I've got a makeup reference that I haven't filled in yet. I like certain colors of certain makeup, and I couldn't tell you the names of most of them, so I'd like to keep that here. Then I have my reference section, which I dechunked a lot. So it's basically just like emergency information, our emergency health information, car information, perpetual calendar, which I might move to my planning section, insurance information, passwords, packing lists, contacts, stuff like that. And that is pretty much my planner. It does close now, which is great. It closes over both. Sorry, like my inserts need to sit properly now. That closes over both pens, and I am really excited about this moving into 2024. I'm almost all set up. I just need to transfer some stuff for January and move my trackers section to the back of my list section. I just waited until I was opening my rings for January because I'm really paranoid about that. But other than that, I feel like I rushed at the very end, but I am still in the middle of my work day, and I was trying to do this in my lunch break, and it looks like I ran over just a little bit. But please let me know if you have any questions. I will try to link most of what I use below, as I said, or at least mention it by name so you can search it. Oh, one last thing, not planning related, but two things that I use every day that are changing as well. I don't know if you care, are my pencil case. This is new, and my purse is new as well. Um, yeah, I know I said I found purse piece, and I did. I just found it in a different color. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you care to have a pencil case walkthrough or updated, not what's in my bag because it's basically the same, but an updated, like, this is the bag that I'm using. Let me know if either of those interest you. I don't want to be too all about stuff. That's one of my goals for 2024 is to focus even more about process and less about stuff. But if you're interested, please let me know. I will record one or both of those videos. And as always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the time that you took to watch through my video and interact with me. And I hope you have a wonderful, gentle start to your new year. Bye.